With the Cheltenham Festival just around the corner, our top Irish racing TV presenters Kevin O'Ryan and Gary O'Brien caught up with some of the leading Irish trainers and jockeys ahead of the big week, starting with Henry de Bromhead, who among others fields Honeysuckle, who of course he'll be hoping can go out on a high.
Honeysuckle on our way to Cheltenham with the rest of the Henry de Bromhead team of the early part of the week. How is Honeysuckle? All things going well ahead of the mare's hurdle?
Yeah, she seems in really good form. We're happy with her and looking forward to Tuesday.
Sure, the cat amongst the pigeons a little bit last week. You left her in the champion hurdle.
Oh, sure, look, I suppose it's keep your options open, just in case some of the main horses in the champion hurdle happen to not make it or whatever, but that's looking highly unlikely now, so I'd say we're pretty certain to be going for the mares.
Good stuff. For Plutard and Manila Endo, both of those in the Gold Cup.
Yeah, they're in great form. They seem really well. Plutard's really coming now. He worked well there 10 days ago. We're very happy with him. It's been a tough season with him, but he seems to be really coming back to himself. And yeah, we're as hopeful as we could be coming into the race on how we are.
And obviously we've only seen him once this year. That was a totally below par effort. You were afterwards scratching your head. He never was travelling in the Betfair Chase at Haydock. He was due then to run the Savills, but he got a bang on the way up to the Leopardstown that day.
Yeah, it's just been frustrating. Obviously it was a no-show over in the Betfair Chase, like you say. His bloods were haywire when he came back. Perfect going the week before. So anyhow, he seems good there now. Our hands were tied because he'll only really go left-handed. So we just committed to going straight to the Gold Cup, and we'll find out on Friday whether we were right or wrong. Yeah.
Manila, is he a little bit of a forgotten horse? We've only seen him once this year, but of course that was when he won the Savills Chase at Tramore on New Year's Day. Just feel like he's a little bit of a forgotten horse.
Yeah, he's certainly not forgotten in our yard. His form around Cheltenham is, I think it's 1-2, 1-2. Right, so now, yeah, so we'll see. Yeah, he loves Cheltenham. He always comes alive there. Won it 2 years ago, second last year. Look, he's a very good horse as well. So looking forward to both of them.
It was always the plan to go straight from Tramore to Cheltenham and miss out the Dublin Racing Festival?
Yeah, once Tramore went well, it was. Yeah, we just said it. It's probably the best prep he's had, to be fair. 2 years ago he fell in the Savills. Last year he more or less pulled up. I think he pulled up in the King George. So yeah, it's probably the best prep he's had. So look, I suppose when you look at age, might be possibly against him, but he's very lightly raced and his form is so strong around Cheltenham. Yeah.
Magical Zoe in the Mare's Novice Hurdle. We've only seen her twice over hurdle. She's unbeaten in both starts. Last time we saw her was the first week in November when winning the graded hurdle. That's thrown up a couple of good winners out of it since, the likes of Liberty Dance and one of Willie's as well. That was a down ride.
Yeah, that's right. She was really good. We kind of committed then to going straight there. She was only four rising 5, and just didn't want to keep running her through the winter. So we sort of said we'd give her a break then and aim for this race. That's what we've done. Everything's gone well. As you say, she was good that day. She probably lacks a little bit of experience, but we said we'd punt on that.
Ballyadam, what does he go for? He won the handicaps, the county, isn't it?
Yeah, he's in the county. Yeah, in the pocket. He'll probably go for the Supreme now. We were thinking the Ballymore, but just the way the ground's easing all the time, we're probably leaning towards the Supreme with him. We've 2 or 3 nice ones: Mascada, the Marigus Mare, and Course Sublime, Eps Under Who, Dancing on My Own. They'll be in the Grand Annual. Sort of going through Envoys in the Ryanair. Well, look, we've plenty going and plenty with nice chances, and we'll see how it all falls for us.
In the pocket is obviously very interesting. In the Supreme, a couple of shrewd judges on the going around the Cheltenham preview circuit, Johnny Deneen being one of them, was quite keen on his chances.
Yeah, we were probably leaning towards the Ballymore, but just with the way the ground has gone, I'd say we're going to go for the Supreme and see. But yeah, he's a really nice horse. His form is good, and looking forward to it.
And a quick word about Envoy Allen, obviously the Ryanair as well. Do you feel that is his ideal trip? Because his run in the King George was just, he never at any stage did Rachel look happy on him, did she?
No, it was too bad to be true, to be honest. 3 of our runners there in England Aplutard himself, and Arctic Brazil. They were all too bad to be true. So we think everything's right now. He seems in mighty form. He was in mighty form going to the King George, but he never showed up. Like he just didn't show up. Yeah. So yeah, we're looking forward to if he brings his down roll run, he'll go he'll run really well. So we'll see. Yeah.
And trip-wise, do you think that is his ideal trip, the Ryanair trip?
I don't know. He won well. He stayed to the line really well in Down Royal. But just we just said we'd stick with that. 2.5 around there. It's enough of a test. We think. He's got a lot of class. He probably won over that trip over hurdles, and ground could be key for him. His wind just isn't as good. It's definitely not as it was, and. I'd say the nicer the ground, probably the better, yeah, within reason.
Well done today, and thanks as always for your time, and thanks for an in-depth update on all your runners next week, and best of luck next week.
Thanks, Kevin. Thank you very much.
Next up, Patrick Mullins, who as always has a nice book of rides to look forward to, headed by a live outsider in the Supreme Novices Hurdle.
Patrick, we must look ahead to the big week. We'll come back to today in just a second, but you've got 3 booked rides on Tuesday. Just give us a spin through those. Diverge, first of all, in the Supreme Novice Hurdle. An exciting horse.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to get on him. I've been riding a good bit of work lately and schooling him, so he jumps very well. Look, being an ex-flat horse, a Frankel, he can run a bit keen, like you saw at Christmas, so getting him settled would be the big thing. We've stuck a tongue tie on him, and the ground being a bit soft, I think that'll be no harm. I could very easily see him running the top 4, but look, Fasta Vega's in fantastic form at home, and for me, he's one of our bankers of the week.
How weird is it going to be for you going out there trying to beat Fasta Vega?
Yeah, I know. Look, but put it this way, I'd rather ride the winner than see Fasta Vega win, but that won't be an issue. Yeah.
Okay, sounds like everything's gone well with Fasta Vega since his setback at Leopardstown, is it?
Yeah, look, he was a bit sore for a few days after. He's been fine since. I actually rode him one day about 2 weeks ago when Dave Porter was away, and I thought he felt fantastic. He worked really well in the Curragh. He schooled fantastic right off Leopardstown.
Moving on, the Mares Hurdle. What a race this is. Marie's Rock is running here now as well. They all stood their ground, but you've got a great chance on Echoes and Rain. How excited about that?
Yeah, look, she's been a great mare for me. I won a grade 1 on her in Punchdown, and obviously she finally broke my GPT, or the Connacht Hotels hoodoo. And look, we took the hood. I rode her in this race last year. I really fancied her, and I thought she was a bit flat. I came in and said she doesn't need the hood anymore, so we took it off her. But then we went flat racing her during the summer, and when I rode her again in the Hatton's Grace, she was too keen, stepping up to 2.5 after going flat racing. So she will need to settle. I'm not sure I can see a huge amount of pace in the race, but I think she could run into a place. But for me, Honeysuckle, none of them have been able to beat her before, and she's still running to a good form, so she's the one to beat.
You mentioned the potential lack of pace there. Is that a real drawback for you? Does it give you a headache how you ride her?
No, look, she has to be ridden, she has to be dropped in plenty of cover. There's 2 ways of looking at it. Lack of pace, maybe she's running a bit keen, but also does that let her speed come into it a bit more. So hopefully it'll just be an even pace and she'll settle. And if she does, I think she'll have a great chance.
A lot of talk in the run-up to the meeting about who you'd ride in the National Hunt Chase. I think you always had your eye on Gaillard de Menil as the one. You've got your way anyway. Is he, do you think, very much the one they all have to aim at?
Sure, look, he is. He's the horse that everyone would like to ride. He's not a winning machine over fences, but this is a drop in class from what he's normally running. He's running in grade 1s in Irish Nationals. He should stay. He jumps well. He has experience. He has the class. All things being well, he's my best chance of the week. And soft ground won't be any hindrance to him. And I'm really looking forward to riding him.
And Patrick, what else are you firmed up for later on in the week? Mr. Incredible, I think, in the Kimure, is that right?
Yeah, going to ride Mr. Incredible in the Kimure, so looking forward to that. He's been quite an interesting project for the year, but I think he's better than 145. Look, Stumptown off giving him £10 could be hard, but really happy where Mr. Incredible is mentally and physically at the moment. I'm hoping to ride Franco Report in the cross country. I think I'm going to get on Gaelic Wire hopefully in the Ballymore. Maybe it's Tremere Factor File in the bumper. Not a whole lot between them at home. I'm going to see how they travel over, what the ground is like. Billaway, obviously, hopefully Statler, maybe Sharge in the county, and I might pick up something in the Alberta, the Triumph as well.
Could be a really exciting week. I must just ask about Gaelic Warrior. All the dogs out in Mullins are barking about Impere passes almost being gone by the post already. How big a task have you got on to beat him?
Yeah, look, Impari Passe has, I think, improved again. I think, of our three, he's the one working the best at the moment, and that wasn't how he was at the start of the season. So at home, he's improved significantly. Gaelic Wire, I'd love if it's soft ground. I think that'd really suit him. I think step up and trip really suit him. I think he's going to be a 3-miler on soft ground in time. I've schooled him a good bit, and he's been pretty straight. Look, again, I'll have to ride him a certain way, down the rail, keep him covered with something on his right, but he's a very, very good horse, and if the cards fell right, yeah, he's a very good chance.
And Statler to get the chance on him in the Gold Cup after winning for you there last year, how much does that mean to you?
Sure, look, to go over to be riding one in the Gold Cup. I've ridden the Gold Cup before, but usually they've been horses that are, Jack and I'm on his own, that were probably kind of past their best. This fella's an 8-year-old, won there last year. Look, Gallopin is in flying form, and he's going to be very difficult to beat. But to ride a horse in the Gold Cup with a live chance, that's the dream, and I can't wait.
Well, we wish you a safe week over there. Just finally, are you going to go out on a winner here today in the last Fancy Girl?
Yeah, look, I'd be disappointed if she gets beaten. I'll be letting her roll along. I think in Cork she enjoyed that. In Leopardstown, that was a very good run. This is a drop in class, and I'd like to think she can do the business.
Patrick, great to catch up. As I say, wish you well for the week in Cheltenham. Thanks for joining us.
Next we come to Tony Mullins, whose magnificent flat stayer Princess Zoe bids to win once again, this time in graded company over hurdles in the Mare's Novice on Thursday.
Yes, Tony Mullins joins me now ahead of Princess Zoe's anticipated run, of course, in the Mare's Novice Hurdle at Cheltenham next week. Tony, I saw clips of what Dave Keane put up the other morning on Twitter of her schooling, her final schooling session, and she jumped really well in the curragh.
Yeah, she was a little careful on her own, and we just didn't put up the clip of the second time she jumped. She jumped much faster. So we're delighted with her, and usually there's problems going, or preparing. Our preparation has gone perfect since Punchestown.
And obviously the rain that seems to be falling now in Cheltenham will play to your strengths, although she is versatile regards ground. She's better the softer it is, though. She did win the Cigaro Stakes and quick ground at Ascot last year.
Yeah, she'll go on any ground, but I'd say that the heavy ground might help us because it inconveniences the others, and just Zoe will do it on any ground.
And obviously she's won her only start over hurdles. It is a big ask, isn't it, going from one run to Cheltenham to take on those novices?
Yeah, well, you see, we had planned to get 2 runs in February, but I possibly ran her a bit rushed going into Punchestown. And instead of bringing her forward, it sort of put her backwards for 10 days. She was, quite tired. She emptied going to the last, and then Danny had to push hard to force a dead heat. And instead of bringing her forward, it put her back a bit. So now she's freshened up and perfect now. But we had our eye on the Johnstown hurl, but it just didn't fall in the way the things worked for us. So my smartness of trying to get 2 runs, it just didn't work right for us.
And of course, there's a little bit of a rush preparation as well, because that was her first run. After a while, she had gone to the sales as well.
Yeah, you see, I was so sure she'd be sold that time, and we had her completely let down. So people don't realise it, and they're not realising that the day she did heated, she wasn't fully fit. And a tough mare like her, she has to be fully fit to show her best,
And Tony, I thought in the hole she jumped well that day in Punchestown. I think she might have made one mistake or two, but on the whole she jumped well.
I thought it was a massive performance for a filly who only had her first school less than a month before the race and hadn't got the right preparation, then jumped out and had to make it all on her own. I mean, I thought it was a massive run, and I seem to be the only one.
And obviously, is it a worry for you going there? We've touched on why you didn't obviously get in a run into her, but only with that one run over hurdles.
Yeah, if there's anything that I don't like, it's that we're only going with one run. But we have been to the Curragh, and they've produced some beautiful schooling ground for her there. And we've been up there 2 or 3 times since Punchestown. And Danny is happy that she's, her jumping won't be a problem.
Will Danny be able to ride her?
I'm sure he will, or I'll just have to give Willie a few belts. So I take it he will, because Willie has at least 4 in it anyway, so he's going to be using various jockeys anyway. I'll be very disappointed if I haven't Danny, but Donna Myler rode her out yesterday, and he'd do me as a substitute, but I haven't discussed that with Paddy, Kyo or Philomena,
Good stuff. Well, Tony, thanks for the update, and best of luck next week at Princess Zoe in the Mare's Novice Hurdle.
Well done. Thank you.
Next up, Shark Hanlon, whose Hewick has given him so many days in the sun. Will there be another one this week, this time in the blue ribbon event, the Gold Cup?
Yeah, Shark Hanlon joins me now, of course, at Gorn Park this Saturday afternoon for a catch-up on Hewick's preparation ahead of the Gold Cup next week. Firstly, Shark, how is he?
Horse is brilliant. He was in the Curragh during the week there, Tuesday. Joey rode him and couldn't be happier with him. He's in great form. I think he's fit as a fiddle, and couldn't be happier. His preparation, everything went 100%. The only problem we have is the rain, and this will bring him over. He's going to be declared, but if the ground ends up soft, he won't run. Liverpool is only around the corner, and we'll wait and see. But there's one thing about Cheltenham: you could have a soft on Wednesday, and again Friday you could have good ground. So we have the chance. We got so close now. We have chance. We're disappointed because all the good weather is after being there, and now it's coming at the wrong time for me. I think Willie's doing a rain dance. That's what's wrong.
Of course, there's no point in racing on that ground because, as we well know, he is a much better horse on nice ground, which he's won, obviously, across the Sandown and the Galway Plate, and of course, again, the American Grand National, the last time we saw him in action. And there's no point in bottoming him, is there? No. If you're not happy with the ground, if the ground's too soft?
We'll walk the track on Friday morning, and if I'm not happy with the ground, he won't run because Liverpool is only 4 weeks away, and he'll go for the National. So, we're going back to America then in May with him. So there's no point in battling him for the sake of running him in it. So the ground is pen, but I'm very happy with the horse. The horse couldn't be better. Jody got up the other day, and he says he's a lot better than he was last year. So
Jody McGarvey.
Yeah, and he said that he done nearly all his work on him last year. And he said to me, he says he's a lot better than he was last year. So if he was, he'd have to be going over there with a great chance. But I think the ground is going to be dependent for a lot of the horses now. Horses that we're after doing Cheltenham preview nights in Yorks, and you're tipping up horses a week ago, and they have no chance if the ground is soft, I thought John Kiley's horse was very good in the bumper. I thought he was one of the Irish bankers going over, but I'd say he'll want better ground as well. So, listen, it'll suit some horses, it won't suit more, and we'll have to go to make sure everything is all right.
You're no better man, you'll be there before. I'd imagine you're going this evening or tomorrow.
I'm going Tuesday morning. We always go on a Tuesday morning, but listen, we'll enjoy it anyway. But it's disappointing because to have a horse so well, to have everything right, and just the rain to stop us. So hopefully, maybe it'll dry up, I don't know, but we're hoping it will.
Good stuff, fingers crossed. And finally, Jordan Gainford is regular rider. I know Jody's ridden him a couple of pieces of work in school. Jordan will be riding him, I'd imagine, if he runs.
Jordan will ride him. Gordon told me 2 months ago that I could have him for it, which was very good of him. And he's delighted. Jody rode him in the work there morning 10 minutes after Jordan was on the phone to know how do we go on. So the excitement is there. And listen, he's a great horse. He's after doing everything for us. So
it's been some story so far.
That's been a great story, and hopefully it's not over yet.
It's not. Shark, thanks for the update, and best of luck next week if Hewick runs, and hopefully the rain stays away for you.
Well done, thanks lads, thanks.
And finally, Danny Mullins, whose rides this year will include Il Était Temps in the Supreme Novices Hurdle, and no doubt he's got plenty more to look forward to across the week.
Danny, you have 5 rides, some really good rides to look forward to, and the first one being, of course, Il Était Temps, won a Grade 1 at Dublin Racing Festival. That's in the Supreme Novices.
Yes, he looks a good ride. Good winner at Leopardstown at the Dublin Festival. And maybe Facile Vega didn't turn up that day, but I still rattled the cage a little bit with Facile Vega Christmas going down to the last.
You only beaten 4 lengths by
Only beaten 4 lengths. It's a solid run. So, even though Facile didn't turn up at the Dublin Festival, I still think we've got solid form with him. I suppose Marine Nationale is the unknown in there.
And obviously he can be a little bit keen in his races, but being a Supreme Novice Hurdle, there'll be no trouble settling because they will go blistering gallop, won't they?
Looks like there's going to be plenty of pace in it again. I'd imagine High Definition will probably go forward, and he's a class horse too if he jumps, so it's what a Supreme should be, all the best novices meeting each other.
And he's a horse that's still open to a bit more improvement. He's slightly gone under the radar, although he has won a Grade 1 the last day.
Definitely, he's gained a lot of Grade 1 experience last year, and I think going back there with that experience under his belt gives him a good chance.
Okay, the Arkle, Willie's 3 runners in it. You're riding Dysart Dynamo. Second time you've been on board him. Of course, the first time was when he was 10 lengths behind stable companion El Fabliola. That was in the Grade 1 Goff's Arkle chase. For me, that was the best renewal of a Goff's Arkle chase we've seen in quite a number of years.
Definitely, I think it was the best novice chase ran either side of the sea so far this year. And I suppose with Dynamo, it's a case of can he contain a little bit to save for the business end. It's a furlong shorter in Cheltenham, and a little bit more jumping early in the race might just take the sting out of him, but I'm sure he's going to burn up over those first few fences.
Because he's, as we all know, you just have to let him go about and do it himself, because you start fighting with him, it's only going to make matters worse. He's just a free king going sort, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Whatever half a ton he is versus my maybe 65 kilos, there's only going to be one winner in that battle.
Good stuff. Of course, the champion hurdle as well. You're on Vauban, of course, last year's Triumph winner. You've ridden him in both the starts so far this season. Of course, he was runner-up to state man in the Matheson hurdle at Leopardstown at Christmas time, and then third, of course, to state man in the Irish champion hurdle.
Definitely, yeah, and a very good run at Christmas. Maybe a fraction disappointing that I couldn't close the gap on Stateman somewhat more at the Dublin Festival. But, he's shown good level of form in Cheltenham. He's won a Triumph hurdle. Constitution Hill is, no more needs to be said about him. But, we'll go there. It's a horse race. We'll take him on.
She wears it well then in the Mayor's hurdle. She won a tactical affair in beating Queensbrook, last year's runner-up. That was at Leopardstown. Again, she reopposes. She's not without a chance. She wears it well.
Definitely not. And, Maria's Rock she's won a few good races, but maybe on slightly better ground. I think with the ground getting softer, she wears it well. Won a per temps qualifier over 3 miles in Punchestown. Stamina is no issue. And, she showed she had tactical speed to beat Queensbrook the last day. She's a genuine contender at a bigger price.
Now, obviously, it's probably one of the strongest mares' hurdles we've seen. The likes of Honeysuckle, the dual champion hurdle winner in it. Epitant, of course, former champion hurdle winner as well. Love Envy, Maria's Rock, last year's winner. There's some amount of strength and depth in it, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's fantastic to see that. People cribbed about the mares' race early in the years of its introduction, but now it's what National Hunt Racing should be. Big opportunities for good mares and make it a proper breeding game going forward with some exciting races going, on the journey.
And your last ride of the day, I think he's a big chance. Andy Slattery's Sir Alan. He wasn't that far behind Blood Destiny in his first start over hurdles when Blood Destiny won at Cork. I thought it was a really good performance to get off the mark. He's beat a couple of subsequent winners at Punchestown, and he was good in a tactical run affair at Naas the last day in a race that's thrown up 3 out of the 5 or 6 out of the last 5 or 6 winners of the Boodles at Cheltenham.
Definitely, that was a good run. He battled well to beat me in Naas the last day. He's shown he'll handle soft ground, and I think with the rain falling, it definitely brings him into it with a big chance. Tikau for Willie has, I think 11-7, plenty of weight. Emmett's horse, I think, is on top, has been declared. So to be in there off 11-1, I think it gives him a good chance. His form is very solid. Going back, early days, that run with Blood Destiny is an eye-catcher. And
you've some cracking rides, we said, over the day one, 5 of them in total. Is Elete Tomp? He's obviously the most obvious one you're really looking forward to.
Probably, but, you can make a case for any of the 5 rides, and going into a Cheltenham Festival day one with that kind of a book of rides, it's very exciting, championship racing. Everything could go to plan. I might not ride a winner, but there's a chance a few of them could hit the target.
And it's so too early to say, obviously, what Willie is going to have you on for the rest of the week. But one horse we know you'll definitely be riding, all things being equal, is Flooring Porter.
Yes, he's in good order. Gavin is very happy with him the last few weeks, and I think that's very encouraging. He got beat twice this year, and it was the same last year, but this year maybe wasn't showing the level of form we would have liked to see. So the fact that the setback came to light early January was a little bit encouraging to see. That might be the reason why he wasn't hitting those heights. And Gavin knows exactly, while it wasn't the ideal preparation this year, he never ran after Christmas before Cheltenham in the last few years, so he knows exactly where he needs to be on a time scale going to the festival. And the fact that he's very happy and confident gives me great confidence going, for a 3-timer. he has his chance. A very competitive race.
And of course, both your Cheltenham wins so far, your career have come on Flooring Porter, winning back-to-back World Hurdles.
Yeah, he's been a very good horse for me. A quirky little horse, but he's delivered on the big day, and he seems to really enjoy it over there. Even last year, after the heavy rain on day 2, it wasn't inconveniencing him for the stairs hurdle last year. So I think ground is no option, and we'll give it a shot.
Great stuff. Well, thanks for coming out and going through your rides for the first day. You've some exciting rides to look forward to. You're going to be busy over the 4 days, and I'd be surprised if you don't add to those 2 winners already at the Cheltenham Festival by the end of the week. Danny, best of luck for the week.
Thank you very much.
Some fascinating pointers there from leading Irish trainers and jockeys. Don't forget, the whole of the Cheltenham Festival, you can watch every race, all 28, live in high definition on Racing TV.